Women with pets, have they helped when your mental health was struggling? How? What pet do you have? Please subscribe and activate the beside the subscribe button to get a notification. Share your own story in the comments section below. Never underestimate how much your cat just sitting on your lap can cheer you up after a hard day. My cat from back home could always tell when I was feeling down, depressed, and would come sit on my lap or lie in bed with me. Cats are so loving, they just show it differently from dogs. At one point in my life, I was such a mess I did almost nothing. Shower, dishes, clean, change clothes, etc. The single thing I could make myself do was take care of my cat. I figured it wasn't his fault I was a fucking waste of a human. He stuck by me and got me through when nothing else could, just by existing and glomming onto me when I was doing badly. I am 19 months sober and now the mom he deserves. Totally me too. I feel you, except it was with my dog. He was the only reason I got up. I was an addict for a very long time, but he was always my number one priority and looked after Primo at all times, when I couldn't look after myself. Aside from the snuggles and companionship, just merely having to get out of bed to feed my dog, take her outside, etc. probably saved my life a few times when my depression was at its absolute worst. I completely agree with this. I may just do the minimum of taking care of my dog and moving from bed to the couch so it's easier to meet her needs throughout the day. But it makes a big difference in my worst days. Working on my thesis and classes and work at home with loud children underfoot all day long needing help understanding what their teachers tried to cover makes me just want to rip my hair out and quit all of it. But then there is a peaceful feeling that comes when the little parrot snuggles under my hair behind my ear and mumbles, "Love you, pretty bird," kissing noises, and, "You good bird." The warm snuggles and emotional pep talk, even if it is mimicking, is like a cheerleader on my shoulder. I love this. I can honestly say my dog has single-handedly stopped me from attempting before. I looked at her, thought about how she'd never understand what happened to Mom, and that hurt worse than my current situation, and kept me around. I'm thankful for her every day. This is exactly what stopped me. I had just rescued her and I felt like I'd be bailing on her. Turns out she rescued me. I have an 11-year-old rat terrier I rescued as a puppy. He knows when I'm upset. Just having him lay down next to me or in my lap to pet is so soothing. He can also be pretty goofy when he wants to play, and that always cheers me up. And he's my routine. It doesn't matter how crappy I feel. He needs to be walked and fed and taken care of. I always have to be there for him, so that keeps me from spiraling when I feel like I'm struggling. We've gone hiking all across the country, many road trips and adventures when I need to clear my head or do something new. He's slowing down now, but we still manage to find things he can do. He's my best buddy and I owe him a lot over the last year and before. He's been with me through a divorce, a cross-country move, losing my mum, and a lot more. He's the best. I also have a rat terrier and they really are the best. Cat, I have a big orange boy who's the size of a small dog and lumbers around the house with all the grace of a Clydesdale pony. He also thinks he is a lap cat at all times, and gets away with it mostly 'cause he my boo. Couldn't love him more. Lol. I also have a big old orange cat who lumbers around clumsily and has no concept of personal space. His name also happens to be Abu, so I call him my boo. Cats are great. One of my many nicknames for him is Big Fun. And he's staring intently at me right now. Gah. I have 2 cats. I saved them abandoned in parking lots. In actuality, they have saved me. There have been many days when I was mentally drained or sick in general. My cats know and won't leave my side. Having someone that depends on you will really make you put an effort into getting up and moving around. I love them to pieces. They're great companions. I also have 2 cats. I adopted one first and that saved me from the deepest depression of my life. I feel that I would not be alive if it weren't for her. Now I'm much better and I adopted another one that is my joy and my peace. Cats are awesome. I have pet pigeons that are rescues. Not only does their company calm me down in order to get them to sleep on you, you have to stay still and relax, which creates a nice positive feedback loop of relaxing between you and the bird, but the routine of taking care of them is also soothing to me. It's nice to have something concrete to focus on. If you have a tendency towards rumination, I enjoy having pigeons in particular because they naturally live in my region, so they don't require extra humidity or light or anything special, and they are very quiet. The loudest sound will be an occasional coo, which is not jarring. Unlike screeches found in other birds, pigeons were actually one of the first animals to self-domesticate. That's part of why they are all over the world. We took them with us wherever we traveled, so they are naturally compatible with humans. Best of luck if you're considering getting a pet. Love this, pigeons are underappreciated. I'm working hard to pay off my student loans in the next 11-12 months so that I can reward myself with a dog for my mental health's sake. This is the best idea I've heard in a long time. Would you like a specific breed? I have a soft spot for bigger dogs. It depends where I'll be living in a year. That will help me better determine a dog to fit my lifestyle. If it wasn't for my roommate's dog, who is basically mine, as he is with me 24/7, I would not have made it through this last year. He gave me purpose to get out of bed when I am depressed or sad. He comforts me and makes me feel loved. I'm never sad for long because of him. I love that damned dog so freaking much. I have dogs. They help me in that they keep me going because they need me. Sometimes just getting up in a deep depression state, it helps. I won't get up for me, but if I got to get up and feed them, then I can grab myself food from the pantry for myself. They help on bad days. I can just be there and they love on me, and it makes me help push away these feelings and focus on how I feel about them. I have a pet rabbit, who is always jumping around and chewing carrots and getting attention. Honestly, it's so lovely to have a consistently positive, adorable, and compassionate presence around. He doesn't quite understand why I'm upset or not doing well, but he always makes me feel better even when he doesn't know it. This is exactly how I view my bunny. I love that he has no idea what's going on with me or the world. Lol. It makes him so positive and pure. It's nice to have that around. My cat, who passed in 2019, was the best friend I've ever had. I have been a pet owner my whole life and grew up around a lot of animals, but I had never had a connection like that with animal before her. She could look at me and intuitively knew how to comfort me. I would look at her and know her mood. She would let me cry into her fur when I was having a mental health day. She would hug me back when I held her. There was nothing like having her sit on my lap and purr. Just looking at her sleep filled my heart to the brim. I miss her every day. This hit home. My baby boy passed away in 2018 before Christmas. This was exactly our relationship. He was my first cat. I mean, my family has always had cats, but he was my first cat that I brought in, named, and took care of. I miss him every day. I still have a picture of him on my nightstand. He was chaotic, but male orange cats the size of small dogs tend to be. He was such a lover though. I lost him due to living near a busy county road. We don't deserve animals. They're so pure. My condolences to you. My cat has helped me through the worst hangovers of my life. Forever in your debt, kitty meow meow. Mine used to snuggle all day. Rip baby. I got an older puppy as a mental boost after being really depressed during winter. At first she made everything worse because she's a puppy and a lot of responsibility. Then she made it a lot, making it worse. Instead of focusing on existentialist dread or just general anxiety, I found that I was worrying about her potty accidents or how to train her, when to take her for walks, wondering if I should be worried about her hiccups or not. These were really annoying problems. But in perspective, They were small, manageable, and concrete problems. It gave me something to focus on, when before I'd just wake up each day and freak about what I'm going to do with my life in like 2 years. That's not something I can fix or change in the short term, whereas her problems I can. Plus, like others have said, she keeps me on a schedule and she gets me out of the house every day. She's exactly what I needed. The structure dogs provide cannot be overstated for people with anxiety, depression, or ADHD. Routine is really good for your brain if you've got one or more of those, but I know for myself that I'm not good at following a routine on my own. My dog will prompt me when I'm not doing things on schedule. She'll just show up, sit down politely, and make aggressive eye contact until I get up and do the thing. She gets me out of my own head and keeps me on schedule. Chickens. I love coming home from work and sitting down to watch them roam around. They make little noises to each other when they find something good, and sometimes they'll all come over to sit on my lap. Chickens are very warm and soft, so they're good pets to have sit on your lap, and they don't lick you or force you to let them. Oh my god, me too. I had no idea how cuddly and loving they were until I got my own. One of them that I bought as a 6-week-old pullet was very timid and hid her face under my arm as soon as I picked her up. Now she's 3 and she's my little companion. I just got back from a week-long bike trip and my roommates were caring for the birds. As soon as I got home, the chickens were free-ranging in the yard and this little chicken sees me and breaks away from the others to run towards me and screams in my face. Clearly she was angry with me for leaving her for a week. There's nothing like being loved by a chicken. My dog, Royce. In my hardest days, I battled with suicidal idealization. I didn't take my life on 2 separate occasions because I was afraid of what would happen to her once I was gone. I'm not sure if that counts, but in those 2 moments, I cared more about her being well taken care of than me escaping the pain I was dealing with at that time. Her impact was the first step to me valuing my existence. I have a hamster. I struggle to sleep, so I find the noises of him moving around, drinking and running in his wheel at night comforting. Oh absolutely, they always seem to know when something is wrong. When my cat sits in my lap when I'm upset or going through a hard time, her weight and warmth helps. Plus just knowing she's there and loves me, the rhythmic motion of petting an animal and feeling fur is very soothing as well. Such a difference. Having my cat greet me when I get home from a spepty day, the weight of her on my legs or stomach is really comforting, plus part of my love language is nurturing, so being able to take care of this sweet creature that appreciates me and loves me unconditionally has really helped on my really low days. I adopted my kitten back in late November and we were still getting to know each other. When the events took place on January 6th of this year, I was a nervous wreck and full of anxiety. After I clocked off work for the day, work from home, I crawled back in my bed and cried myself to sleep. My kitty, Aries, for the first time, jumped onto my bed and curled up by my torso and laid there with me the whole time. She brought me so much comfort in that scary day, and ever since, I tend to rely on her snuggles when I'm down. My dog is the best thing that has ever happened to my mental health. I have schizoaffective disorder. Different doctors have different opinions on whether it's depressive or bipolar type. On top of needing to get out of bed to take care of him and cheering me up with his general goofiness, he serves as a useful indicator in deciphering reality from hallucination. If he's not alert to whatever else is in the room with me, then I'm usually pretty confident that it's not real. I've also been passively suicidal off and on for years, but would never act on it as I need to be alive to take care of my doggy. I have an 8-month-old corgi puppy. When I first took him home, it was incredibly stressful. Training him, constantly watching over him and being chronically sleep deprived was exhausting. I think it's important to be honest about that, because some people think getting a puppy will help improve their mental health, but in the immediate aftermath it may actually make it worse. But, we got into our little routine. He's learned and grown so much and we've bonded so much, and I cannot imagine life without him now. All he has to do is look at me and smile or walk up to me and I feel overwhelmed with love for him. There are so many things he does that brings me joy, but I think the biggest impact he's had on my mental health is that whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed, I can take a few minutes to play with him or walk him or just watch him do his corgi thing. Seeing him discover new things about the world and experience things for the first time is so heartwarming. He gets so excited and delighted by the most simple things that I take for granted. Things like flowers or a strong breeze or even little pieces of fuzz on the ground. It reminds me that there's a lot of joy to be had in the world, even if it comes from the little things you may not always notice. Apologies to my therapist, but I give full credit to my cats for keeping me from multiple emotional breakdowns. I struggle with depressive episodes, and to have the warmth and comfort of their purring and snuggling is immensely soothing. And just knowing that no matter where my mental health is, they still love me and want to be around me. They love all the versions of me no matter how messy, and that goes miles for me in dark times. I adopt one very special kitten who practically cured my depression. Then he passed away suddenly while he was still very young, and the depression I fell in after was the worst that I've ever experienced. So I guess the answer is yes, and number colon. I'm so sorry you lost your sweet cat. To come home to 2 cats rather than empty house is whole world of difference. My dog honestly saved my life. I adopted him when I was in one of the darkest times in my life, and he's what I live for. When things were really bad and I was suicidal, I would tell myself over and over again that I can't leave him alone. He needs me. He'll never understand why I'm suddenly not with him anymore, and that would get me through. He knows when I'm not doing okay and he won't leave my side. A cute story. One day I was at home hanging out with my roommate and partner. I started having a panic attack about something, so I went to go sit in my room. A few minutes later my dog followed me, jumped onto my bed next to me and tried to lick my tears away. He got down, went to walk out and looked back at me, his sign of "you're following me, right?" He walked away, but 2 minutes later realized I didn't follow him. He came back in, grabbed his favorite bone, put it in my lap and just laid with me until I went back out into the living room. He sounds like such a special dog. What's his name? My dog Bailey loves to lick my ears when I'm upset. She's also the reason I didn't give in to my suicidal thoughts. They're just the best. His name is Darth Vader. When I had a dog, and I was feeling depressed or anxious, she would lose her excited energy and just sit and cuddle with me. She was a Labrador. Now I have 2 Manx cats that just change my mood by looking at them, especially my white one. She blinks her big blue eyes at me and does this soft ow ow meow and boom. Stress gone. Petting and caring for them is also very calming. I have pretty bad anxiety that often manifests itself as repetitive movements. Anytime it gets really bad, my cat will crawl on my lap, put his paws on my shoulders and bury his face in my chest. This will force me to stop doing the movement and instead pet him. Kitten purrs are the best anxiolytic. Also, having another living thing to care for has really helped my depression and anxiety, especially as my so is out of province for work and can't visit cause of COVID. Honestly, they make it worse when I'm going through a hard cycle. Bipolar 2. I feel like they suffocate me and are a responsibility I loathe. Edit cause I worry. I don't hate animals, but it's hard to feel like I have to give my little energy I have to loving and taking care of someone, and then I can't take care of myself cause I used that energy up. Not everyone is able to take that bigger responsibility. At least you have the skill of introspection and knowing your boundaries, which not everyone has learned. So since I'm night shift and work long hours, I can't really have a dog or a cat at home. But I have a betta fish named Aristotle. Even though he is just a fish, he has helped my mental health immensely. He is such a beautiful fish and is low maintenance, realistic to given my career and lifestyle. I have him in my kitchen and it's just nice to feel like I'm not eating alone all the time. Yes, big time. Had my cat for coming up to 5 years now, and I still can't get over the fact that no matter what I do, that crazy furball loves me unconditionally. I got him about 6/8 months before my 6-year relationship ended. The night we broke up, I was crying my heart out in my room, and this silly little kitten climbed onto my bed, came over to me, licked the tears off my face and curled up in my lap. I knew I'd be alright after that. Yes, made me a better person. My chihuahua loves to sleep right up against me. When I have a bad day, he'll run down the hall to the bedroom. It's like he knows I'm going to lay down to try and nap the stress away. His tiny little body cuddling up to mine just melts my heart. I love the unconditional love animals give you. It just makes my heart happy. My pets have kept me here more than anyone else. I had just adopted my sweet girl when I suddenly physically declined and faced a hospitalization and sudden move. Knowing I had to take care of her and keep her fed and her life enriched helped me more than anyone will ever know. She's become a bit of a three-nager. She wants her distance but is still very needy, and is going through some behavioral and physical issues. She was rescued from an extreme hoarding situation, but I am there for her always. She's a cat with a goopy eye who pretends to be buggy. I love her to bits, and when I'm at my lowest she gets me out of bed. Her cuddles are the best. Having to get my baby fresh water and food means I get out of bed when sometimes I wouldn't, and there's nothing like a cuddle or even a little headbutt from him to make me feel a little brighter. Even when I don't take care of myself, I have to get up and move around to properly care for them every single day. They're an important part of my routine and often the catalyst to completing my own responsibilities. Seeing them thrive and be content in the environment I've worked to create for them gives me the warm fuzzies. They have a checklist of needs that need to be met for the best care, and I can meet those needs for them, which gives me feelings of accomplishment. Interacting with them is also calming and takes my mind off of other less pleasant things. Some days they're the only thing that keeps me going. They are truly my world, and there is nothing that I love more than